going to start straight away. Hi guys, and welcome to Chirpse with me, your host Glow. If you don't know, then get to know. And if you don't know my guest, then get to know him. He is an amazing actor and comedian. Samba, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, thanks. Nice to meet you, Glow. My name is Samba Schutte. I'm a Dutch Mauritanian comedian and actor who grew up in Ethiopia, and now I'm in America, and I have a new feature film coming out called Advanced Chemistry.
You are very well traveled. You've been everywhere.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was listening to one
it's the Dutch side. You know.
Gosh, well, thank you.
Dutch people, we were colonizers. We're used to going around the world and trying different countries. And
well, if it makes you feel better, I'm half Nigerian, and there's no country where you can't find a Nigerian. So,
no, everywhere. That's the same.
So for those who don't know, do you want to tell the audience a bit about Advanced Chemistry?
Sure. So Advanced Chemistry is a sweet, silly rom-com. It's basically about a scientist that I play called Alan, who goes through a horrible heartbreak. And so he is dedicated to finding a way to stop people from cheating. He comes up with this drug that they're testing out on voles, which are a kind of lab rat. And it's based on actual science. So in actual science, you can make a vole monogamous or polyamorous, depending on what levels of oxytocin you play with. It's a real thing. And so he injects his best friend. She's a lesbian best friend played by Shantae Wayans from the famous Wayans family. And because she's a cheater, and it backfires, and the wife gets injected, and then his boss gets injected, and he gets injected. So it just becomes a mishmash of like a Midsummer Night's Dream. Everyone's falling in love with everyone else. And it's based on actual real science. So it's a fun, silly, sweet rom-com that is, fun to watch.
Well, I know some of my audience could definitely use a drug that can force them to be monogamous.
Lots of cheaters out there.
Yeah, but I love that. So I'm obsessed with science. And the first thing I wanted to ask you is, how do you make science sexy? Because the tagline of the film is a very sexy science story. So
science movie, right? Well, I think science is sexy if I see someone in a lab coat with glasses and they're talking like proper English. You know what I'm talking about, Glow? You know, like that, where they're actually saying words, and I get goo eyes, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that science can be sexy if you are able to be confident in your ability to, make changes in society. If you're awkward, then that doesn't come with it. But this scientist that I play is very confident in his drug, and a secret skill that he has is air guitar, which is his pastime. Right. And he's actually a bronze medalist air guitarist from the big air guitar. There's real air guitar competitions in Finland, and he got the bronze medal. So Samba, had to learn how to play air guitar, which is not easy, by the way.
I love that.
It is harder than it looks.
Wait, can you give us some air guitar now? Can you give us some air guitar now?
I mean, I need a tune. You don't just improvise. Okay, this is a skill. You need music.
What songs do you know on air guitar?
Any song. I mean, what do you want to play? You want to play
a song?
Killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song.
Hey.
My whole life. Huh?
Firstly, that was the gesturing and expressions when you're playing air guitar is on the nose. I've seen guitar players with less expression than that. I love that. That is amazing.
No. These guys sell it. Trust me. You just watch a few YouTube clips on the air guitar competitions, and that's how I did my research. These guys sell it. I pulled a muscle during this time, by the way, just so you know. That's how physical it was.
That is really, really impressive. And I agree. I think I'm a big nerd. I read X-Men every night before I go to bed. There's nothing sexier than somebody with a really niche special interest who can talk pretty confidently about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask, as part of your characterization for this scientist, if your character had one obscene kink or fetish, what would it be?
Well, it's funny because his ex-girlfriend that he dated stores all of her sex toys at his house because she has no space for storage. his bedroom is filled with like sex swings and you name what, everything is there. Okay, all kinds of shapes and sizes you can imagine. And so I don't know if he's into that, but probably has tried it out just to know how they work. Even if it's just by himself, he's like tied to a swing on a Tuesday, just to see what it works like. So I think he has an interest in these things because his ex-girlfriend stores all this stuff at his house. Yeah.
I guess it would be like kind of, there's a weird psychosexual thing about using somebody else's toys, especially if you have that kind of ex relationship.
Right.
Also feels like
just
a weird,
like, oh, let me see how they would feel in it, and so you sit in it.
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's also a weird kind of power play thing. Like, we broke up, but I'm still gonna keep like all of my toys in your garage. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have space in your apartment?
That sounds like something I would do.
Friends for storage.
I don't know why you're laughing. I'm going to use your house when it comes to
I was thinking exactly that.
So I wanted to ask, obviously, I'm a big Shakespeare fan. A Midsummer Night's Dream is actually the play that made me fall in love with acting.
Wow.
And drama and speech and language. So I was going to ask, obviously, when you're modernizing a film, like, you take certain liberties, and one of the liberties that you guys have taken is, one, obviously having a very diverse cast, and also gender swapping and sexuality swapping some of the characters. Like, obviously the scientist's best friend is a lesbian, a black lesbian. So I was going to ask, like, how does the film kind of express the nuances of queerness, blackness, and sexuality and things like that?
So I'm glad you brought that up because it is very diverse. I think one of the taglines was, it's like a Midsummer Night's Dream, but with less white people. But basically it's... I love it because I've worked a lot with a lot of these comedians before. And Shantae Wayans is just hilarious. She's a lesbian in real life. And she's not always cast as one. So to be able to play one and actually really be herself in this role was really nice to see, as well as just be accepted. In the black community, it's hard to be a lesbian black woman in America, in some communities anyway, because of the religious aspect of things. But to be able to do it proudly and loudly, and as well as in this movie dating a white woman, that was like very interesting to be expressed. And so I love how the movie is not only diverse in that way, but showing that there are boundaries to be pushed when you're exploring who you want to be, when you're exploring your sexuality, when you're exploring your love life. And a lot of people think I'm Indian because of the way I look. So that's why I'm glad I have two Indian characters in the movie, Kiran Deol, who plays my love interest, and Iqbal Theba, who plays my boss, just to show that, hey, there are different shades of brown out there. We're not all one people. We don't all look the same. We're not acting all the same. And some of them, like Lisa, has OCD, or the boss is very much into adventure, or I'm very much into my science and needing love and romance and commitment. So it showcases every kind of level of brown and culture and things that come with it, along with all that queerness angle too.
Oh, I love that. And you hit a point I was about to touch on. So obviously you are a mixed black person, right? But often people mistake you as either being South Asian or Indian specifically. And obviously your co-star, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's Asian, right?
Yes.
And as I'm sure you know better than me, a big problem in modern media when it comes to brown people, especially South Asian people and Southeast Asian people, is desexualization, right? So how has the film kind of like approached that with like two like visibly brown people as the leads, and it's meant to be a very sexy topic, but they're both kind of characterized as nerds? How have you guys kind of struck a balance between sexy and asexual?
Right. No, because it's so true that what you say, that if there is a Asian woman cast or any kind of exotic looking, just brown person, basically, they sexualize them with the long hair, that flows, or the just the sweat on the brown skin, or whatever you want to call it. We went 100% the other way, which is just two people very much into their science, but fall in love because they do share similar passion about love. My character has been cheated on and wants to make people monogamous. She's not had good luck with love, but she wants people to be able to express themselves fully and be polyamorous and just be themselves fully, give confidence in who they are. And so they get injected with one another's drug and find out that they have much more in common than they think, because all they want truly, which every character wants, is love. And so the way they show that, even though they have their quirks, is Lisa has OCD. All right, she is a germaphobe. In fact, when she even kisses my character, she has to wear a mask. So it was really interesting to do.
That is very pushing
through
daisies.
a mask.
That is very pushing daisies.
It was really interesting. It was like a clear mask, so you could see her lips, you could see the lipstick stain the mask, and at the same time I'm kissing. Like, you could feel the person's warmth of their breath, but at the same time you're kissing yourself. It's a really weird feeling. And it just shows that there's different levels of intimacy without jumping to, full sexual expression. It's like giving someone permission, because she's very afraid of it being intimate. And so in each step in the movie, my character kind of sees how far they can go, but always with her consent and always with her going with what she needs and what she wants, so she can fully express herself. So it takes away from that narrative of, oh, let's make them exotic and just jump in there and make it sexy. No, this actually gives someone agency over their bodies and their boundaries.
I love that, because as I'm sure you know, the original Midsummer Night's Dream, it does, some things don't necessarily hold up. One of them being how it expresses consent or the lack of consent. Obviously, certain characters don't necessarily have informed consent when they're being like hit with love potions and whatnot. From seeing the trailer, obviously you guys have taken a different angle where there is informed consent and willful consent. And how has that kind of like affected how the story plays out without giving spoilers?
Well, it shows that love has to be earned at the end of the day, and you can't force something upon somebody. And it forces you to get to know somebody and actually take a good interest in somebody when they have their boundaries, and you're trying to see, what causes that, and how can I be of, not service to it, but how can I be an addition to help you remove some of those boundaries willingly at your pace. And so, if anything, it just shows you can't force love. Like Shantae Wayans, who plays my best friend, who cheats on her wife, she gets injected and falls madly in love with her wife and stops cheating. But she gets too lovey-dovey with her wife. Even her wife's like, it's a bit too much. And she is so taken aback by that she wants me to inject her wife with the same potion or serum, so that her wife falls in love with her. But I say, no, that's against, you can't force somebody to fall in love with you. Either way, she steals the thing, and there's a whole thing that her wife does get injected, but then you fall in love with the first person you see, and unfortunately, I was the first person the wife saw and touched, and so she falls in love with me. And so it just becomes this whole love triangle of things, and showing consequences of what happens when you try to force love on somebody, whereas what can happen when you truly try to earn it.
But I recently listened to a podcast that you were on in April. Everybody Has Secret Weirdness. Those guys are great. And on that podcast, you said that you've been married since 2015.
Correct.
Okay, so that's 9 years. I mean, I'm still a baby. I'm not trying to be married anytime soon. But I was going to ask how being an actor how has it shaped your view on love, sex, marriage, commitment?
Yeah. So Los Angeles is a weird town to be in. That's where I live. I've lived here
My condolences.
for 13 years now. I know. You know what it's like. Come on. It's a town that will make you question yourself, your values, your worth. In fact, you can come there with all your credits and all your worth and values, and it'll make you feel worthless. It'll make it feel as if those don't count. And that's the trap you shouldn't fall in. So I was raised with values. Obviously, my mom's African, my dad's European. My mom's a Muslim, my dad's a Christian. I was raised very much to be aware of the world in different countries, different cultures, respecting people for who they are, and knowing that there's some worth to standing up for yourself, that you have something to offer. So coming here was a challenge, obviously, to kind of maintain that. And I was really aware, and I'd seen with other friends and actors, what happens when you go with is the illusion, or that, oh, I have to be this way, I have to do this, I have to do sex scenes, I have to do kissing scenes, I have to be fully naked, I have to do all this kind of stuff in order to have success. Whereas that's not true. In fact, the people who are the most successful are the people who have stood firmly in their shoes with who they are. Because once you are that, someone told me, you have to treat Los Angeles like your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Just be like, I'm busy, or no, and then all of a sudden they want you even more, and that's what happens. So being married now almost 9 years, like you say, or 9 years, has it been 9 years? Don't get me in trouble. My wife is also in the industry, so we understand each other's worlds, which is very important. And of course, when there's a role that comes up that involves either kissing or simulated sex or whatever, we both know we're professional. There's always going to be some intimacy coordinator there nowadays anyway. And that is just part of the work to express the art. And so I'm lucky that I have a partner that understands my world. I'm sure there are partners who have been on sets before where the girl's partner was not in the industry that had to kiss, and they were just there watching behind the camera as I'm doing a kissing scene with their girlfriend, which was very awkward. But I'm like, it's just not me, it's the character, and they're like fuming behind the screen. But you have to understand that as an artist, you're going to have different expressions of the human condition, whether it's love, sex, heartbreak, drama, killing somebody, whatever it is. You're going to express different sides of the human condition. And so I'm lucky that I have a partner that supports me in what I do. And yeah, standing firm in your shoes really goes a long way, especially in a city like this.
Yeah. I think, obviously, I'm a baby. I'm like 25. And
Aww.
I know. It's like, I feel so old, but I know I'm so young. And so one of the things that I do is I model, and sometimes I do like commercials and stuff like that. And
yeah, you look great.
Well, thank you. Likewise, you're a very beautiful man.
But
what was I going to say? Sorry, I got distracted by your face. But yeah, so like I get cast for like a lot of couple shoots because I'm very vocal about love, sex, dating, queerness. And a lot of the time when I get cast for couples things, like I am either single or dating somebody who isn't comfortable being depicted on like a couple shoot or whatever. So the first thing I usually do is I'll ask one of my exes, or I will ask somebody else I've been intimate with, who I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
And that has definitely caused issues. That's definitely caused issues. Because I'm autistic.
Because it's like, are we playing pretend, or is this for real? Is that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one or two times it might have been a bit delusional. Like the last like couple shoot I did was with my most recent ex, and I think the little voice in my head was kind of like, if we role play this well enough, like maybe we might just sit back into the role.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's easy to fall into that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's why they say never date an actor you're acting with, or never date someone that you're with on set, because you'll fall in love during the work, but then once the work is over and the illusion of that is gone, you're faced with a real person, and that can be like,
yeah. I feel like I'm the opposite of that. Maybe it's the autism, but like for me, I'm like, okay, cool, we're here to make out and say some lines, and then we're going home.
Yeah. And you have to be able to distance yourself from that. So I'm glad that my co-worker, Kieran, who plays the love interest in this movie, we've worked together before, and so we know each other really well. And so when we knew we were going to be in the film together and we were talking about these scenes, we're like, okay, so how do you want to do this? I think there's some level of professionality to being able to be a comedian, so you can laugh at yourself, dare to be silly, and try to make the other person laugh. I think that was our goal during our romantic scenes. There's a scene where she wants to give me a hand job, and I'm all excited because she can't, have public affection. And then she pulls out a rubber latex towel, blows it, and says that she doesn't have any lotion or lube. And I'm like, oh, this is
the driest hand job ever.
But the way she plays it,
just squeaking and friction, just
lots of skin irritation. Anyway, so we were going to Yeah, so that was us trying to make each other laugh. Like, how can we make each other the least comfortable possible? And that's how you get by, not mixing the real feelings with the acting feelings.
Yeah, and honestly, that sounds hilarious. Like I wish I could have been on set. I
Yeah,
really like
it was.
enjoy discomfort, especially men's discomfort. So like, I feel like I'm like almost like a psychic vampire. If I'm in a room and a man is in a socially uncomfortable situation, like you will just see me like you'll see me getting turned on.
Just your eyes get wider.
And to wrap up, because I don't want to take too much of your time, but I want to end
Sure.
on a wholesome note. Kink aside, I was going to ask how has this role positively impacted you as a person? Like, how has it changed how you view yourself and how you interact with the world and others?
Great question. Obviously, this is my first time playing the lead in a movie, carrying the lead, being the lead in a movie, but not only the lead, but being a romantic
Mm.
interest in the movie. Usually, someone with my look would be on a horse with a gun, chasing some rebels in the desert, or being in a taxi and driving people and doing the accent. That's been this face in Hollywood for a long time. For a long time, people wouldn't consider me being
Mm.
African. They're like, no, you're too Indian, or you're too white, or you're too tall, or whatever it is. And I'm like, there's different shades, guys. There's different types of black and brown people out there in the world. So to be able to play a role where I am the romantic interest and being the lead, carrying a movie, and being myself and not putting on any kind of accent, just really truly being myself, that has really shown that I hope the industry is
Mm.
changing. That someone who sees this, who can identify with me, feels promising, that the future is promising, that they are worthy, that they can be romantically interesting and exciting and sexy. And so that's been the best takeaway from this
That's
experience.
nice. Honestly, if the role made you feel sexy, then that is all it needs to do. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm playing air guitar day and night, Glow. It's just my wife is locking me up in another room, but like, I'm kidding.
oh God, I bet that's so annoying at parties. Is that your new party trick? Oh
Yeah,
gosh.
that and throat clicking, which
Wait,
a
I
lot of people
love
are like,
those.
is it because you're African?
Please give me a demonstration.
No, no, no. So this is musical throat clicking. So any song, for example, I played "Killing Me" softly on the air guitar, and I'll do it on my throat. Okay, that's an example of throat clicking,
Do you know what? Do you know what? I think I like that better.
which will chase people away more than air guitar, I think.
I mean, if you start doing that at a party without warning, I'm calling the police.
Yeah,
But you know,
exactly.
since you indulged me, I will return the favor
Mm.
and give you. It's not necessarily a clicking, but I can give you a throat something. Oh, that sound. Oh God!
Ooh. Thanks, Glow. I mean, that's great. 30 minutes in, amazing. I appreciate it.
Do you know, there's weirder things have happened on this podcast, but I was actually going to give you my rendition of the Super Mario Bros. Theme tune on my right.
Yes, please.
Oh, I ran out of breath.
That was so good.
Oh my god, that's so good. That sounds just like the actual game, to be honest
Do you
with
know,
you.
if you
That's
come to London,
amazing.
we
I've
start
never
playing.
seen anyone do that. We should start a band.
Well, do you know,
Call it Deep Throat.
oh, wait, that's an amazing deep phrase.
That's a good name for the band.
Do you know, I might make that the title of the episode.
Yeah.
But Samba, it has been a pleasure. You've really lifted up my mood today, and
Same.
I cannot wait to watch the
Thank
film.
you, Glow.
Um,
Appreciate it.
Please
Thank
do let me
you.
know
Yeah,
if you're ever in London, and we can do an in-person episode. Guys, if you've never heard of
absolutely.
Samba before, again, if you don't know, then get to know. Go check out his I was going to say discography, filmography, especially Our Flag Means Death, which is amazing. But I didn't want to take up too much time talking
Thank
about
you.
that. But yeah. Any final words for the lovebirds today?
uh, you know, Be yourself. If you're looking for love, the person will come to you when you're fully in love with you. And I always say beautiful is be you to the full. All right? And you'll learn that message when you watch Advanced Chemistry, now on all digital platforms.
Woo! Thank you so much. Oh gosh, I'm stealing that, by the way. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing that.
You may. Spread it around.
All right. Well, take care, Samba. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Glo. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Oh, that